All right, welcome to another edition of T1 Does a Thing. If you look here, I have a very disgusting Super Nintendo controller. I don't know where I got it. I found it in my stuff, and I thought maybe some of these people may not know how to properly clean these. So that's what we're doing today. I am going to show you how to clean a Super Nintendo slash Super Famicom controller. So what you're going to need some tools. It's just a regular Phillips head screwdriver. This is just in case some of the screws are tight. You're going to need some alcohol. Higher the proof the better, because it will evaporate faster. You will need Q-tips. You will need a toothbrush. This is for some of the tight corners and stuff. The way I do this is pretty broad with how I do it. Some people would go and they would clean every last little bit with the toothbrush, real super careful. This is a controller, man. It's you're trying to get it to where it is not nasty. You want it to look good. If it's going to be collector, or you're going to collect it, honestly, the way I do it will work just the same, just because I mean, I don't do anything super harsh. So also, you're going to need soap. I use this just because I can just squirt it straight on, scrub it, rinse it off, and we're good. There's some optional things you can use. I have a high volume blower that I use to get the water out to kind of speed up the process. I have a high frequency sonic cleaner that I use. That's usually what I drop my casing, buttons, even the silicone inside. I'll drop that into it and let it run for about 15 minutes or so, and that gets pretty much anything extra off. Gonna need some water, a sink if you got it, a bucket if you don't, a way to rinse it off, and that's really it. Really, we'll just get down to it, man. So first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip it over. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. I usually get them loose, then I let the power tool do the rest. Or I would if this thing wasn't so gummed up. That the power tool can't even get them loose. My gosh. This is ridiculous. it actually does manage to pull them out. If it doesn't, not a big deal. Flip it over on its back, man. Let them fall out. Make sure you got somewhere to set them. If you got a little magnet tray, those are perfect. Sometimes even if the screws are really nasty, which I may have to do with these, I'll just drop the screws down into my alcohol to help it break up any of that crap that's on them. Spilled soda, whatever. Okay. There's all 5. You can see some of the nastiness that already fell out. So we'll pop the back off. Like so. Look at that. Soda. Definitely soda. Look, all the way down in there. It came in through here. Yeah. Alright, we're going to set this aside. Now you'll see that there is a wire catch that loops through here. So you just want to pull that loose. You'll see that you have these 2 boards, which you want to be careful with. They're just barely soldered on there with these 2 little wires. These little, like that. And you're going to pull that up, and you're going to flip it over, and then you'll see that there's contacts here. Each one of these contacts you're going to need to clean with some alcohol and your Q-tips. Set that to the side. This is the D-pad silicone. This is select and start. This is the buttons. And these 2 are your left and right shoulder buttons. Now each one of the shoulder buttons sits down inside this recess, and they have a silver pin that holds them in place for it to pivot. These also get nasty, so I do recommend to clean these pins, because if you look at this one, it's got gunk on it too, so definitely wipe it off. Just push out your D-pad. If you look, you can see in the corners. See the little gunk in the corners? And just dump those out, and in the floor apparently. And look at all the nastiness. So yeah, disgusting. Alright, so that's the tear down. And in just a second I will show you how to clean the board, and I will show you how to clean the rest of everything. Alright, so now I'll set all the other nastiness aside, and here we have just our board with our contacts. So you take your Q-tip, the alcohol, and you rub these contacts. And see, it's not that bad really. There will be some on here that are disgusting though, I just about guarantee it. A little bit. Keep rotating your Q-tip away from the dirty side, of course. A little bit, and then a little bit. Okay. We'll take the other end. Work on our select and start buttons. Pretty dirty. Pretty dirty. Okay. Next, another clean Q-tip. pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. And pretty nasty. Now we're going to go back to the top here. Make sure we get these clean. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Let's go over it again. Still pretty rough. Sheesh. You'll come across those sometimes that's just filthy. Which, if you remember, whenever we pulled it apart, it looked like the soda came in from the top. Soda, animal blood, souls of the damned, something skunking it up. Wow. All right. So, now, we're not done. Because what I like to do is I take our toothbrush, some alcohol on it. We're just going to go over it with the toothbrush. Because if there's been soda in here, it could have got under some stuff. It could be laying across the board, one part that's not a contact. And you know, if it ever got wet or warm enough, it could feasibly move. Alright, so we're just going to wipe dry just to see if it was nasty anywhere. Yeah, it's still pretty yucky. Alright. So now the back side, if you notice, there's nothing really here. You know, you got nothing. You know, it's just plain old brown part of wafer board. So I usually just, you don't have to, but I like to, because I mean, if you get it cleaned up too, that's less stuff that's moving around inside your controller. And, you know, ounce of prevention. You know, we've heard. Ounce prevention keeps the turtles at bay. Now, if you're a collector, and you're doing this for collection purposes, be careful of this. That's your stamp. It shows where, you know, what factory it was made in, or what board. I don't know really what it represents. But if a collector were to open this up, see this removed, they wouldn't be happy. Alright, so last but not least, we have these. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to go ahead and brush switch ends. Get a bit on my paper towel. And better. Now, we got another one right here, which this one's disgusting. This is the nasty one. It's even sticky to my fingers. So, take a brush. Now, if you want, you can. I mean, you can even like wash this in with your other stuff, with soap, water, whatever. I just find that usually the alcohol will break down whatever is on there, and it dries pretty quick, and it's, you know, not much chance of rust, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is stainless steel, so not a huge chance. And it feels not sticky anymore, so that's a plus. So we did all that. We're going to set that to the side. You can also look here. You can see this right here. You can pull this loose to make it easier to clean your cable if your cable's disgusting. I try not to, just because, man, if you're like me, if anything can go wrong, it will, and I would end up breaking this and end up having to solder something new on there or solder these wires directly to the board, and I don't want to do all that. So what I normally do to clean the cable is, once I get everything back together, I mean, I'll clean these bits here, you know, but once I get everything back together and these are cleaned, then I'll just pull the cord to length, and I will use the warm washcloth and just wipe it back and forth a few times, and then good to go. Alright, so now we're going to go on to cleaning the housing and the buttons and the silicone. Alright, for this one I'm just going to show you the one part, because I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. You take the stuff, you spray it with the dish liquid, whatever, you scrub it with a brush or a rag, you know, whatever you've got handy, and you rinse it off. That's pretty much it. So basically what I'm just going to show you a little bit here, and then I'll go off camera to hold on. There we go. Alright. I love this stuff, man. This stuff's awesome. So, take your brush. Get the fuzzies off your brush. Where did the fuzzies go? Whatever. Alright. So you got your brush, and you're just gonna scrub. I mean, there's nothing different how you would wash a dish or anything, you know? I'm going to go ahead and get up here. And I mean, man, if you're exceptionally lazy and you really, you know, don't want to go through this part, throw it in the dishwasher. Do recommend not throwing any of the other pieces. I just do the outer shell in the dishwasher, because the other pieces are just going to fly everywhere. Some of them even small enough they could probably go down your drain. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to rinse this, come back and show you. Alright, if you look, scrubbed it, rinsed it, wiped it off with the towel I had over there, and you can see much better than what it was. So I mean, it was pretty nasty. Now if you look, you can still see, like, where it says made in Japan, like right here, you can still see some dirt in and around those letters. And if there is, and if it's something that's really going to bug you, go back after it, man. Scrub it some more. But if you have like a high frequency cleaner, that'll do. That'll take care of that too. So I'll be back here in just a minute, and we will have everything cleaned up and dried up, and we'll go back to reassembly. Alright, folks. As you can see, everything's laid out here. You can tell big difference in how these look. No more gunk inside. Front as well. Now, there will be instances, of course, you know, every one of these is a little different. You know, some of them may be less dirty than others, some of them may be more dirty than others. I mean, you know that. But, you know, this is just a real general guide of how to do a Super Nintendo controller, and it's pretty much the same for any other controller. Just be careful. Some of these controllers, whenever you open them up, way more complicated than what a Super Nintendo controller is. So one other thing I want to show you is if you look here, you can see this on the buttons. Now this is something that's commonly missed, and if you don't get it while you have it apart, it'll look nasty. It'll look kind of ugly. And basically what it is just dried skin or whatever right here. Basically you can just take a rag and wipe it off or scrub it off. It's really easy to miss. So I'm going to knock it off on this one real fast. Okay, I'm using a little buffer of mine. Any excess fuzz off of it. And there you go. You can see most of it's taken care of. It's not bad. Okay, so here comes the, I don't know if I'd say fun. This is the tricky part. You have to get these in just right. Otherwise, it is a pain in the butt to get together. So if you get to part of this together and you realize that, you know, one side is sitting closed easier than the other, or vice versa. No, I just did that completely wrong. Should be on this side. It'd help if I knew my right from my left. It is backwards, I guess. So I guess I have some excuse. Alright. Have this on. Okay. Go ahead and throw those in. Alright. So, now, make sure you got all the little nooks here. See, look, there's a little bit of nastiness right there on that one. Got it. Alright. Drop that in. Pad. Now it goes like this. Not the other way, because you do it the other way, like up on here, and it won't set right. Drop in our select and start buttons. And now this part. This doesn't help when you're partially colorblind. Nope, that does not go there. There we go. Because it's actually got labels in here. And it's actually labeled for the Famicom as well. So it's got the green, yellow, and all that stuff. So, but you'll know if you got the button in the wrong spot because it won't sit right. There you go. Alright. So now we need to put this in. Remember, it goes on the posts like this, here and here. Now, we will set this in. Stupid cable. This in like so. It looks like it's sitting pretty good and flat. You gotta make sure you got those pushed in good. Alright, so this goes this direction, like so. You see right there. Let's push down, and here comes the test. When you put this on, if it fits together and you don't have like gaps or you're not having to push it together, then you're good. Next we're going to drop our screws in. so. Alright, here's a trick. This is plastic. The screws they use cut their own threads. You only have so much plastic, so what you want to do is, once you get the screw in the hole, you back it up, and you hear a thunk. That means it's fell into the previous threads. And then you want to start tightening. Don't tighten it all the way yet. Alright. Heard the thunk. Start tightening. Alright. Now I heard a click, not really a thunk. There we go. Alright. Here. Yeah, felt it. Didn't really get one. So. And here. This way you're not, if you happen to take this apart again, you know, it's only going to be able to take it apart so many times if you're tearing the threads out or cutting new threads each time, which makes your controller weaker. Okay. Okay. All right. So now you can see a little bit of crud there, just a speck, that we have a nice clean Super Nintendo. All the buttons feel good. Clacky like they're supposed to be. Left and right works right. No more crud on the back. So you'd actually want to hold this controller for a while other than feeling repulsed by it. So that is how you clean up a Super Nintendo controller. No real mystery involved. So for my next video, Susie, I am going to show you how to retrobrite. This is a Super Famicom controller. It looks pretty good from, you know, from what you can tell there, until you see one that I've cleaned and retrobrited. Can you tell the difference? See the slight slightly yellowed brownish tint to this one compared to this one? So I'm going to show you how to do retrobrite without a bunch of really expensive tools. Most it's going to cost you is a clear Tupperware container, some aluminum foil, and some hydrogen peroxide, and a nice sunny day. So tune in next time. I'll show you some more cool stuff, and thanks for watching T1 Does a Thing. Talk to you guys later.